Hi Thrivers, it's Megan here. So we are going to do dream catchers. Now you're going to need some supplies along with the supplies in your bag. You're going to want a little bit of glue and you're going to want some scissors, okay, to do your dream catchers. I'm going to point my camera down so that you can see my tray. There we go. So the first thing you are going to do, the yarn, whatever yarn that you have, you may have a different color than this. This is the yarn I have. You have a big thing of yarn. It's going to be more than you need, so you can always use it to make another dream catcher. I made this part by using a paper plate and cutting out around it and then punching, using a hole puncher, punching holes around the edge. And if you have some feathers, or you can go to the craft store and get some feathers. And you have different colored beads. This is what I had left over. So I just have a few little red pony beads. You can use any kind of beads. So they don't have to be the little plastic pony beads. You might have some other beads at your home that you would like to use. So what I did first, you see, I threaded the yarn through, and then I went through to the opposite side here, threaded it. Now I'm going to show you, look at how long, this is the front. Oh, and I put a little piece of tape on the end just to make it easier for me to thread it through the holes without it fraying. But I'm going to show you how long. Look, keep going, keep going. This is how long I made my threading piece. Look at that. That's a lot of yarn, right? So you're going to want a lot of yarn for your threading piece because you're going to go around and around your dream catcher. Now, I have my big piece of yarn. You can either choose to leave your yarn in case you want to use more, or you can say, okay, you can measure it out a little bit and then decide to cut it. So I measured mine out a little bit. I'm going to decide to cut this end. And then I'm going to tie it. That way it just makes it a little easier for me not to have to avoid it when I'm trying to sew the rest of it. Now you can see I'm leaving a fairly long tail because this is one of the tails, one of the places I'm going to use to tie feathers and put beads on. So I'm leaving a long tail to do that. And then I just knot it at the end there. Okay. So now I can pull this fairly tight, obviously not too tight. And now I'm just going to go around the circle. Let's see, over. So I'm going to actually go over under. That's how I started. So I'm going to come up underneath the one next to this. And it takes a minute because I got to pull all this yarn through. And then, look, I'm going to go back over here. Now see, I'm going back to the opposite side. So I'm going to go on this side. See, so it kind of crisscrosses each other. Okay. And then I'm going to come up underneath and I'm going to put it through this hole. And I'm going to pull all the yarn through. Takes a little time. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to do this fairly quickly so that this video isn't too terribly long, but I wanted to show you the getting started part and how you're going to need a long piece of yarn. And you just keep going on opposite sides and keep threading. And just every time I just pull it a little tight. It doesn't have to be super tight. And I'm going to go back up. So it's just like sewing. If you've ever sewn anything, I'm going under, and then as I pull it, it goes over, and I'm just going directly across each time from the last one. So I'm sewing my Dreamcatcher. Now you can choose to sew it differently. If you want to skip holes and go back and forth, you can actually make whatever pattern you want on your Dreamcatcher. This is the pattern I'm choosing to make, and it's probably the easiest pattern to show you. But you have plenty of yarn if you want to make another circle and get some more supplies. You can easily make more and experiment with different ways to make it and different ways to weave it. You can make it look more like a you could go like this and make it look more like a spider web. Experiment and see how that would work. Let's see if you like the look of that. Oops. My thread is catching a little bit. All right, my last hole on this side. And one more hole on this side. All right. So now you can see, look, I got to the end. And I have quite a bit left over. So I am going to cut it. So it's a little different length than that one. And I'm going to tie this one just like I tied the other one. Tie it in a knot. Okay, so now I have 2 strings right here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some beads and string a couple of beads on there. And you can see how I'm just twisting the end up to get the bead on. You can use tape if that's being difficult, or you can even put a little bit of glue. Let me show you. You can put a little bit of glue on the end there to twist it up to make it more stiff. I'm going to put 3 beads on this one. I'm just going to do 2 to show you, and then you can choose to do more. So I am going to tie a knot around the end of my feather first, like this. Tie a good strong knot. And then I'm going to put just a dab of glue. Oh, actually, I didn't, sorry. I'll tie it one more time to be a knot. I just did it 1 time. I need to do it 2 times for it to be a knot. There we go. And then I'm going to put some glue right here on the end of my feather, a little bit on both sides. Kiki, shh. I'm going to wrap the yarn around. And so what that'll do is you won't see the end of the feather. And then later I can come back and I can either wrap this around as well, or I can cut it off. So when you do that, you will have to let it sit and dry for a little bit before you move it, for it not to come apart. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side to get and to use a different feather. So I can choose to use my white one. Got a little break in it, but that's okay. Or I can choose to use my pink one. You have 3 feathers, or maybe even 4, some of you. I can't remember if I put 3 or 4 in there. But you can choose to use 1, 2, or all of them. Whatever feels good to you. You know, if you like all the colors and want to use all of them. The other part is if you don't want to do the gluing part with the feather, you want it to be over quick so you can hang it up right away, you could just tie it in a knot. Tie it very tightly in a knot, and it might hold. And if you find it doesn't, you can always go back and glue it another time. That works too. Whoops. There we go. All right. So there we go. And then the last step you'll do is you need a way to hang it, right? So back here at the top, you're going to put your, I'm going to use the tape end that I cut off. And I'm going to choose to do it like this. See, I'm putting it through that hole. See how my holes are here? Now, if you have 3, let me show you. If you have 3 on the bottom, I only have 2. But if you have 3 on the bottom, you'll just choose the hole that's in the middle, like this, to hang it. And all you'll do is you'll tie this in a knot around here, just like you did to get started. And then I'm going to cut the end. And there you have a way to hang it up. Okay, and you can make this obviously as long or as short as you need it to hang it. And you can hang this over your bed. You can hang it in your window. And there you go. That's how you make your dream catcher. So I hope you enjoy doing that project. And I also included a fun little fact sheet about the history and a little bit about dream catchers for you, so you can have a little more information about them. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, Thrivers. Bye.